let's talk about the characters from To Wear a Crown. Hey guys, I'm Marlene and welcome back to my channel. So my debut novel, a political fantasy adventure for adults called To Wear a Crown, releases in less than a week. On the 25th of May, I am super excited. So every day leading up to the release of the book, excluding Sunday, I will be posting a video relating to Wear a Crown, the characters, the world building, and reading some extracts. So today we're going to be looking at some of the characters in To Wear a Crown, but there will be a part 2 video also coming up within the week. To Wear a Crown is now available for pre-order, and you can also enter the pre-order giveaway. Everyone who enters the pre-order giveaway will receive the first 3 chapters of To Wear a Crown straight to their inbox within 48 hours of ordering. And you can stand a chance of winning 3 grand prizes consisting of a signed paperback copy of To Wear a Crown, a character art print of the 3 main characters in To Wear a Crown, and one of 3 beautiful bookmarks from To Wear a Crown. And then this is the back of the bookmark. So now, without further ado, let's dive into the characters in To Wear a Crown. So first up is Markham Aesher. So, Lad Markham Aesher is one of the favourite candidates in the 16th election of the People's Monarchy of Aldahad, and we'll get into exactly what that means in the world building video. He is one of the main characters and also a point of view character in To Wear a Crown. He is one of my favourite characters. He was certainly very fun to write, and I think that he is the character who most closely resembles my personality. And so I think that all of my characters have a little bit of myself in them, but I think Markham has most of it. And so Markham is the son of the owner of the gold mines of Aldahad, and so they are the richest family in the country. And his mother died when he was a young teenager, and that obviously had a big impact on him. And following his mother's death, his father moved out and went to live at the gold mines, and it was kind of became his life, his work. And so Markham was kind of left to administer the estate, run in the election, and his own personal endeavors, which becomes a big part of this book, by himself. But not really by himself. He has his friends and he has his people who really help him. And that's the thing about Markham, is that he has all of these grand ideas and schemes and big plans, and he just dives right in and says, we'll figure out all the details later. And then his friends are really the ones who have to go and figure out the details later. He's very committed, and he will stop at nothing to help those who really need it. He is super cocky, but at the same time very anxiety ridden. He suffers from anxiety and panic attacks, and he carries really the weight of the world on his shoulders, even though he doesn't give that appearance to the rest of the world. Markham's arc throughout this book is really coming to terms with the cost of his plans, really having to come face to face with every result that his grand schemes and plans have, and the fact that they do have very visceral, real world consequences. And he still makes the sacrifice. He's still willing to put his money where his mouth is, but now he has to face the intense consequences of that. And yeah, it's interesting to see his journey throughout this book. So Laeda Havenja is one of the characters that got the best response from all of my beta readers, and arc reviewers so far. And I completely understand why she is a favorite character. She's one of my favorites as well. She is also one of the main characters and a point of view character in To Wear a Crown. So Laeda's also one of the candidates that ran in the election, even though she really does not care to be there. So Laeda's family is the most famous and renowned family in Aldahad. And the reason for this is that, and this we'll get into the history more on the world building video, but this is because her ancestor was essentially the big freedom fighter who created the People's Monarchy. And so they even record their years in before Havenja and after Havenja. So her family is a big deal, and she is the representative of the family in the election, and there's a lot of pressure that comes on the back of that, especially from her father and her brother. Her mother suffers from an unknown mental illness that's, a big plot point in the book is where that illness stems from. But yeah, so she doesn't really want to be there, doesn't like the rest of her family, but she is the representative for the biggest family in Aldahad. And this book, Laeda really goes through a very big arc in this book. She is probably the character who goes through the most change and growth. And it was one of my favorite things to write when I wrote this book, was Laeda's story. And I am very, very excited for you guys to meet her. She is, she's a pretty badass character. And then next up we have Staella. So Staella is then the third and final main character and point of view character in To Wear a Crown. She is an ex-cage fighting champion. So she came to the capital city of Yaekós when she was only a teenager, and she won the illegal cage fighting competition. And on the night of the final, when she won, they were finally discovered by the city guards, and she had to run and escape back to her very tiny hometown. And she's been living there for the last few years after the competition, kind of hiding from the law. And she always wore a mask when she was fighting, so no one knows that it is her, but she has to keep it that way. But she grows quite bored with her rural lifestyle and just being at home on the farm. And that is then when Emil, another character that we will get into now, comes to the farm to recruit her to become Markham's protector, his bodyguard, essentially, because as a woman she was never able to be in the guard or be a soldier or whatever, but she has really a great talent for that kind of thing, and they recognize that. And so that is how she comes into the story, and she comes to Yaekós, and she becomes Markham's bodyguard. She becomes entangled in all of the intrigue and plotting and plans of the politics and everything that Markham is trying to achieve, and it just becomes more and more dangerous, and she finds herself sucked into this world and really starting to care about the people and having to protect them, essentially. So I think Stayler's arc throughout this book is very much about finding her purpose and finding her place in the world. There's a point in the book where she realizes that she has no idea what she wants from her life, that she doesn't know why she's doing most of the things she's doing, and life has just kind of been happening to her, and she has no clear goal to work towards, and she really does find that in this book. Then we have Emil Quavet. So Emil is one of my favorite characters in To Wear a Crown. He is the younger brother to the current High Ruler, and so he obviously comes from a very influential family, but he is not an influential member of that family. So his eldest brother is the High Ruler, his younger sister is the representative in the current election, and he is sort of just in the middle. and he has gone through some crazy things in his life, and so he moved out and he went to live with his best friend Markham Aesher, and has gotten entangled in all of Markham's various plots and schemes and plans, and he is the one who makes it work every time. Markham comes up with the big ideas and the grand things that he wants to achieve, and Emil is the one who makes sure that it happens. Emil also goes through an arc in this book where he finds everything that he really always wanted, and yeah, I really like Emil's character. He's very withdrawn, but he's always thinking, and he has this kind of wry sense of humor that comes out when he does say something. And yeah, he's really a tortured soul, but who never let everything that happened to him turn him into a bad person. He remains kind, and he wants to do good in the world, and he is very devoted to his friend, and he feels indebted to Markham for giving him a place to stay and for taking him in. Yeah, and so most of what he does is to support Markham and to show that gratefulness that he has. Then we have Macie Blomhill. So Macie also comes from one of the noble families. Her brother Aiden is the representative in the election. Her father used to be one of the previous high rulers, but now her parents basically travel all over the world without their children, and so Macie is mostly left to her own devices. She is Markham's cousin and also a good friend of theirs, and she has this thing with Emil that no one really knows what it is, but they are very close, and it's kind of a, are they a thing, are they not a thing kind of thing. She goes with him to his family on Yule and things like that, but they aren't officially a couple. And that irks Macie quite a bit, not knowing exactly what is going on. Macie becomes a friend and confidant to Stayler and Laeda in this book. She really becomes very close to Laeda, and she has always been a rebel at heart. She's always had her own very strong political ideas, but no one has really taken the time to ask her about it and to get her opinion, because she presents as a very superficial, kind of dainty, overtly feminine person who doesn't really care about any of this, and she just wants to go to all the parties and look pretty and things like that. But that is not actually the true Macie, and it is very interesting to follow her story along the line of To Wear a Crown and see what's really going on there. The next character is Micah Delaney. So Micah is a very feisty character. She is a part of the rebellion going on in Yaekós, and she has a very intense past. She comes from one of the slums in the northern part of Aldahad, and because they were in such a dire financial situation, Micah was sold into slavery when she was a child, and she went through various masters that did horrible things, and she ended up in a brothel in Yaekós. And Markham, in one of his grand plans and spur of the moment charity, he bought the brothel and freed all of the women working there or being held as slaves there. And Micah was one of the few of them who actually stayed in the city and who is committed now to making a change in the way Aldahad is run, because slavery is technically illegal in Aldahad, but it's not really enforced. And we'll get into all of the politics and the classism and stuff like that in the world building video, but it is it's a symptom of the bigger problem in Aldahad, the fact that slavery just kind of goes on and people turn a blind eye to it. And so Micah has really committed to bringing about that change. That being said, she is very disillusioned with the world, and especially with men, and she does not hold back. She says what's on her mind, and she will do whatever it takes to get to her goals. She says things that other people would not have the guts to say to pretty high-ranking people, and she just doesn't give a fuck. And I love that about her, and she really is one of the characters who makes the book very fun and interesting. That's it for today's video, but keep in mind that there will be a character video part 2 coming up sometime in this week. I hope that you enjoyed getting to know the characters a bit more. I hope you're excited to read about them and meet them for yourself. And yeah, remember that To Wear a Crown is available for pre-order and to enter the pre-order giveaway. And I'm super, super excited to share this story with you guys. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!